What it do, what it do, what it do. It's your boy Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes. And who am I with? You already know it is Joseph Huggins, aka Old Man Huggy, here for episode 56. God save the United States. Welcome, motherfuckers.
Yeah, working title. Working title.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're curious, if you think we're being serious about me putting long live colonialism, I was totally being sarcastic. If you haven't picked up on that from the past, 55 episodes, God save your ass.
Yeah, that's the title for the live stream for those who are just listening to the audio.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, I had to put something in, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to name the audio because it's after we record the episode, so then I can just go back to what we talked about, come up with something.
Yeah.
So doing it ahead of time for the live stream, I get it. Sometimes you don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But how are things, man? How was your week?
Crazy ass week with a chill Wednesday, and then was busy this weekend doing some work event where we crushed it. Watched a bunch of football. Man, it was a good week. It was a rough start. I had a shitty start to my week, and then it finished really well. So, pretty damn good. Yourself?
Mine was good. Starting this new gig that training started today. So it was my last few days of not really having any responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I took a bunch of mushrooms. and there's this hurricane out here in the Pacific Ocean, it's coming up Baja, California.
Yeah.
And so it finally rained for the first time since January, since the first time you came full time on the podcast. If you can that's how long it's been since it's rained.
Oh yeah, that's right, dude. It's just barren out there.
Yeah, but then there was also a full moon, so we had the rain and the clouds and the full moon, and I was on mushrooms. I was like, "This is tight."
I'm wearing my Los Angeles shirt, dude. I think I stole this from my sister, so shout out to my sister. Jacked your shirt. Woo, let's go. I don't know if we should be doing that, dude. Be careful. You don't need to be flashing anything on stream. But no, man, that's good, dude. I haven't taken mushrooms in so long.
Me neither. I was scared to do it, because we used to do it all the time in high school, and then I became an adult. I'm like, well, what if I have a bad trip? I'm I'm too old for this shit. And then I started thinking about my life and why I'm not married with 2.5 kids and with a picket,
Yeah.
But nah. I
Chrysler Town and Country and the 3-car garage. You got the 2-door with the single. You're that's what I should have. That's what everyone wanted for me. Yeah, mushrooms. You can go down those holes, man. You got to be careful.
But no, I taking them because I get them delivered to my house in 10 minutes, which is insane. And
so
I just
ridiculous.
I know it is ridiculous, but it's awesome. But I just told myself, I'm okay, I get mushrooms can you can have a bad trip on it. I'm not gonna let that happen. And then, but it also I don't know, kind of plays into, it's not as crazy as it would be because I'm jaded, just
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, but it's fun. And I got this thing. It's called a mini G box, and it has over 3,000 old school retro video games.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those.
So that's been a nice little compliment to the mushroom experience.
What were you playing?
Well, shit, I shouldn't say this one game out loud because I'm trying to hustle some people in it, and I'm gonna pretend I never played it before.
Oh, you can tell me off air. Tell me off air on that one.
But that one. But Street Fighter, the Ninja Turtles, the Simpsons.
Okay.
The old school shit,
the scroll. Yeah, you told me about that. Does it have 64 games or Super Nintendo games or?
Yeah, it's got all the Marios. It's got Aladdin, Lion King.
Aladdin's such a good game,
dude. You would think so. I was over at Quick Draw's house, the day that Barack Obama got inaugurated for the first time.
Okay, I remember that.
So 14 years ago.
That was lit. That was a lit day.
Yes, or 13 years ago. Yeah, it was awesome. However, I played Aladdin while he was in class or at work or something. I forget.
Yeah.
and I beat it in 35 minutes, and I was
What
so
was it?
disappointed.
The Super
Super
Nintendo?
Nintendo,
Oh
yeah.
no, dude, the Sega version. Fuck the Super Nintendo. There's a Sega version of
No,
Aladdin that's
I've
super.
got both.
That one's hard. Like the Sultan's dungeon where you have to climb up the wall and these like blocks keep shifting out, bro.
Yeah,
I was talking to some dude about that the other day. That shit's so hard. That game
yeah.
was hard. Super Nintendo was easy, except
It's
for
the
the.
same game,
No, it's not.
but except for on Sega, you get a sword, and in Super Nintendo you don't for some reason. And I was always like jealous of like the kids like who had Sega Aladdin
Yeah, and if they
when I
threw
was
if
growing
they
up.
threw apples at you, you could slice them in half,
Yeah.
and you can't compare the two. It was so much better on Sega.
I'm glad you brought this up. We had you and I, elementary school. There was a play for Aladdin, sixth grade, and I tried out for the play to be Aladdin. Didn't get Aladdin. Who did I get? Jafar. And I had a sword, and they threw like apples at me, and like the entire school is like watching the play, and they start throwing apples. I go upon myself, whip my sword out, and hit the apple with my sword and launch it into the crowd. Was not supposed to do that. I just thought it'd be tight.
Did you get in trouble?
No,
Okay, that's pretty lit. That'd be like, oh,
dude, and the fact that I actually hit, like, made contact.
yeah.
Like, this live play.
Someone's like, man, these school plays are just getting so realistic. These kids are amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. I still think about, I guess.
Jafar's so gay.
No, dude, Jafar was a badass, dude. Jafar.
But okay, so
Jafar was
gay.
awesome.
You could be a gay and a badass.
I don't know though, because he was creeping pretty hard on Princess Jasmine in like a way like skeezy way. So Jafar was definitely like super pervy. But I mean, when you think about it as an overall Disney bad guy, Jafar's got to be like he's like first or second tier. He's up there because he has a staff that he hypnotizes people with. He wears a hat with a feather. He has a big cape. He wears all black all the time. He's got a talking bird as a friend, and he can do sorcery. Then he becomes a fucking genie. He literally becomes like an immortal, all-powerful god-type being. He's all fucked up and, and shackled or whatever. He's all fucked. But, like, in theory, like, Jafar is one of the most powerful villains in all of Disney.
Yeah, but I saw somebody bring this up, like, not too long ago. But it's like Disney has a history of making their villains very, very gay. Like, and they, like, put up Jafar as an example. And then I forget the other one. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of true.
I'm trying to think who the other one would be. Not Scar, but there's a whole part.
Yeah, maybe Scar.
There's a whole part, dude.
Scar's a Nazi, though.
Dude, yeah, no, there's that whole let's be prepared, and they're like goose stepping. I'm like, dude.
Goose stepping hyenas.
I was like, what is going on?
And they have the flags, like
and the fact, yeah, and then Whoopi Goldberg's like in the room while like they're doing the voiceovers for it, and she's singing along. That was weird. That was so weird. The weirdest shit ever. That's one of the
very weird. Thank
so
God.
Weird.
Thank God DeSantis is here, like clapping back at Disney.
Yeah, whatever. I think that's probably like his favorite Disney scene is like is like Uncle Scar's definitely his favorite. You could make Ursula, we never see Ursula with anyone. That's like a female bad guy. Shout out female villains in Disney. But Ursula.
Yeah, thick girl summer.
But, yeah. I think she just hated Ariel because she was kind of basic and, like, didn't really do much, Because Ariel didn't really do much.
Who would you rather hook up with, Ariel or Ursula?
Ursula's got all the tentacles, man.
Yeah, but
well, yeah. Is it under?
Kind of hot.
Is it under the sea form, or like, do you have a choice? Because if I don't have to sleep with like a fish woman or an octopus woman, that'd be that.
Yeah, could you actually hook up with Ariel?
See, okay,
mermaid?
And this
because I mean, how old is she in the first place?
Well, think about this: is how creepy is it that I really like this girl who can't talk. I'm going to take her out on a boat and I'm going to try to make out with her. That's like, if you told,
but like Snow White,
if you came to me, Andy Schultz, and told me that I want to take this deaf mute girl out on a boat and try to make a move on her, I'd be like, absolutely not, dude. Like, what are you doing? That's like so weird.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't tell you, and she wouldn't tell you because she's
That's
deaf
no,
and
not
mute.
even funny. That's it's
Ask
just.
Helen Keller.
Well,
Ask Helen
we should
Keller.
do a whole thing where we just talk about it, but there's so many creepy things that always creeped me out. I'm like, who? No one's like, hey man, like don't do that. Like that just seems really creepy.
In The Little Mermaid, whenever she's getting married,
Oh, the
uh,
priest and the
the
boner.
priest, yeah, the priest has the boner, and then like a bunch of like the castles look like dicks, like on the fucking
I
cover.
had that. We had like all of the white cases of those Disneys back when I was a kid, and my sister showed me like the dick on the case. I was like, what? And I don't know what happened to them, but those would have been collector's items. If you have those things now, those are
I
worth
think,
so much.
yeah, it's got to be around somewhere. But like whenever like DeSantis and like the idiots in Florida are like talking shit about Disney and like Mickey Mouse, like being like inappropriate for kids, it's like, bro, like there's like multiple examples of Disney being inappropriate, like that have nothing to do with Mickey Mouse, and you guys are just missing it because
Yeah.
you're full of shit. Like you're just like making shit up. You don't have to make shit up. Like,
Yeah, it's like if you really want to be angry at Disney, like about stuff, like they're like, oh well, they don't like or don't say gay bill. Like you should just like YouTube like top 10 like subliminal messages in Disney movies and watch that, and you'll be like, whoa, that's crazy, but that was forever ago. Like I haven't even seen anything like that anymore. That's old school. I don't know if they do it nearly as much. They're much more forthcoming with their innuendos and stuff than they used to be. Before it was like small stuff. And then
yeah,
before that, it was like all racist and
it was like a bunch of.
Uncle Remus and
Oh yeah. Like
zippity
like
doodah.
the Native Americans in Peter Pan. Why does the red man howl?
Yeah,
Like I mean,
like,
that's like, Jesus Christ.
yeah,
But that's like overt. But I feel like that all like the hidden like dicks was like somebody who was like an animator, like drawing it in and getting away with it. It wasn't like an orchestrated Disney.
yeah. It was
thing.
like,
Yeah.
all right, listen here. I need 10 dicks in this movie. God damn it, listen
Yeah,
to me.
it was like some weirdo who's like, yeah, I could turn this into a dick and nobody will even know.
I don't care if you're classically trained, all right? I want a classic dick in this movie, god damn it. Yeah, I don't see that. Well,
Is it a classic dick?
While Walt Disney's just like power smoking cigarettes in the corner, like angry and just mumbling to himself, they're gonna freeze me. I'm gonna have them freeze me, man. I'm gonna be frozen and I'm gonna come back. Just being fucking crazy as shit.
You're gonna chronologically freeze my head, and I'm still gonna power smoke like some Winston's or Marlboro Reds.
Dude,
Hundreds.
what a wiener, dude. I can't, like, that's when people are like, man, I love that movie with Tom Hanks. I'm like, that was like, it was a good movie, but
What movie?
he did a Walt Disney movie where Tom Hanks
Toy Story.
no, like he played Walt Disney in a movie, like a
Oh yeah.
and like I was like, absolutely not. There was like, are you gonna go see it? I was like, fuck no, I'm not, unless he's like got a pack of Reds next to him and like Mein Kampf on the shelf behind him. I don't really think it's not going to be accurate. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. That's the truth.
That is true. He was very anti-Semitic, allegedly.
Oh no, not allegedly. That guy was a schmuck.
No, I know, but Disney wields a lot of power around here.
Oh, that is true. Shout out Disney. Assholes.
Okay, let's as we do start with our therapy questions. Joseph, therapy question number 1. What is your spirit animal? And then in parentheses, the animal who is most similar to your personality.
Well, I mean, my favorite animal is an elephant. So, I mean, I'd have to say like an elephant for sure.
I thought you were going to say mongoose or some bullshit.
No, I mean, that'd be up there. I mean, mongoose is type, but I have like an elephant tattoo, and I got an elephant never forgets on my arm, but I got a little octopus dude on my arm. So, I mean, I got all these. So, but probably an elephant, definitely. Good memory.
That's the most close to your personality?
I think so. I mean, but that's a subjective question to ask someone, because I could be like, I'd say elephant. Good memory, sensitive. Protects their homies, rolls with the tribe. I think that, I don't know, like a little, squad of elephants. Because I mean, everything else that I really like is like would be way more like one-offs, or like not, they're not really like a part of a group of anything, like octopus, I guess, but octopus kind of do their own thing and chill. That's one of my favorites. I like foxes a lot. But I mean, if you're like, I think I'm a fox, people are like, man, you've been stealing my shit. Like, so I don't, I don't think that, like,
Stealing my chickens.
yeah, and I mean, a mongoose, I'm not like fighting anything on a day-to-day basis that could could kill me, but I'm like immune to its poison. So probably an elephant. Pack mentality, cares a lot about the people around him, protective of them. What about yourself? This will be interesting and probably sarcastic.
No. I'm like stuck between two animals. Like a dog seems probably right as far as like closest to my personality. But I was thinking like sloth. Not that I'm like that slothy, but like if I was gonna be an animal, that'd be kind of tight. Like I don't give a fuck. And I was watching like Planet Earth, like one of the latest ones, and this sloth like gets like attacked by like a giant like falcon, and it just like slowly like lifts its hand like with the claw and like takes out like the fucking like falcon. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know sloths like had like any defense, And I was like, it was pretty tight.
Dude, that's gotta be a powerful slap.
It was so slow, but it was like, oh, like it worked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I feel like a sloth, like that's like way more like a hippie, man. A sloth would be way more hippie. They'd be like, hey, man, that. Like you got fungus growing on you.
Yeah,
be all mossy and shit.
I've been called a hippie before.
I don't see you as
that. I mean, I know I am kind of like a hardcore ruthless capitalist, but yeah. I was like a hippie and then turned yuppie.
I'm like man, like let's go longboarding and talk about capitalism and just like how we're gonna exploit the system and really just like come up on everybody else, bro. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm a fucking stoke lord. You know what I'm saying? When you're this stoked,
but why a dog?
Because especially my dog. Like my dog gets along with like literally everyone and every other dog.
Yeah.
But then it was like chill. Like I feel like if I were a dog, me and my dog would be good friends.
Okay.
I don't know. And well, what made me think about it is because you said you had an elephant tattoo, and
Yeah, you got your dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, well, that's kind of a childish ass question, but
yeah, no, I liked it.
I wanted to switch it up a little bit, like from like where were you before you were born?
Yeah, if you were born but not born yet, would you have been born earlier than later? Now,
right.
What?
Okay, yo, therapy question number 2. If you could only eat one item of food for the rest of your life, what would you eat?
Does it have to be in one particular form?
No.
Potatoes.
That's pretty good. You're speaking to my Irish people.
So it'd be like potatoes just because I love fries. You could do baked potatoes. I mean, there's so many different ways you could do potatoes that I'd probably either pick potatoes or like pasta, like noodles, which is still like, I mean, it'd be some carb bread based thing for sure.
But I mean, do you get protein out of that?
I mean, fuck it. I don't give a shit. Just give me more noodles.
I think you need protein at one point.
Well, yeah, but I'd be fine. Maybe at some point I'd be like, hey, man, this is getting old. But I mean, if I'm just eating potatoes.
Well, of course it's going to get old. It's the only thing.
Yeah, it's what I would want to eat. That's not like the most practical thing. You didn't say if I didn't eat protein, I'd die. Just if I could only eat one item of food for the rest of my life, what would you eat? Probably potatoes.
Oh, well, look at you.
What about you?
Pussy.
Get out of here. Therapy question number 3.
Therapy question number 3, y'all. If money and time were no object, what would you be doing right now?
Okay, and people say this is crazy, and I totally mean it. If I won the Powerball or I won a shit ton of money, I would go to school, man. No, I'm serious. I would want to go study like forensic science and learn about blood splatter. I'd wanted to spend all my time trying to learn more stuff because I would have downtime, right? So if you ended up I'd go for like a doctorate. I'd go for like a PhD in something crazy because
Okay. Y'all, for who don't know, Joseph's uncle was the showrunner of Dexter, and now you're talking about learning about blood splatter
No, I'm just saying
as a multimillionaire. That's
no.
crazy.
What I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying is, I like learning new stuff and challenging myself. So if I had the opportunity and I had the financial stability, I would be all about trying to pursue passions and things that I can't do, that I don't have time. You know, like, I mean, what we're doing right now is something that we both have set aside time and money and worked to get to this point, to where we can hang out on Monday nights and do this, right? There's so many other things that I'd want to learn about or do, or things that I never got to do, that I would want to pursue if I had. Because then, I mean, even if you did it part-time, if you were a part-time student going after like a PhD in forensics or whatever, like psychology, you could take so many different classes and just learn different shit. Like, because otherwise I get bored. What am I going to do? Travel for forever? And, you know, I would, if I did that, I would want to challenge myself in that way, and then new business ventures could come out of that, because I'd have the capital to do more stuff. So I would just try to like sharpen up my skills. It sounds like bullshit, but it's super true. Everybody's laughing.
I believe you.
Yeah, I would be all about that.
I would buy like an NBA team, and then just be like in the mix, and like, you know, and then like be like one of those owners that like is like too involved in like the player acquisitions and shit like that. Like, I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I might be like owner GM. You know,
you would buy. It'd be cool to like buy some small like second tier level like soccer club in like Scotland or something, where
like you're like fucking Ryan Reynolds or some
but
shit. Like,
no, but I mean, like, but if you actually lived there and stayed there the whole time, and just like, you would like,
who the fuck wants to live there?
well, you could do it anywhere, because if you had the money, you could do it anywhere. So you would take over the town. You would be like in control.
You're telling me you would rather have like a non-Premier League soccer team?
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
than an NBA team.
I would probably want an MLB team if I owned a team.
That'd be kind of tight too.
Because they have the money structure is way different, and they sign their own TV deals, and it's like the CBA is different. I mean, there's a lot of money dished out. Just like if I could be really good at any position in any sport, I'd probably pick a really good like ace pitcher in the MLB, because they make so much money. You work once every 5 days. It's like and pitching is one of the few positions like hockey, or in goalie in hockey, where you can literally take over the entire game, and it doesn't matter what anyone else does, because you're that good at your position. Pitching's one of the few things where you could just not let anybody hit the ball. Like, that's totally possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, baseball is like an individual sport masked as a
team sport. So if you want, like, that's like
but we're
the
talking
premier
about
spot.
like owning the team.
Yeah, I'd probably own an MLB team. I'd want to be an in the shadows guy. I wouldn't want to be like a Jerry Jones type. That'd be too much.
I definitely would. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to get in the mix. Like, talking about like sharpening your skills. Like, I would like go ham on trying to figure out how to be like a good GM. But I also understand that like any like owner who tries to like moonlight as a general manager of a professional sports team usually doesn't work out very well.
No, and I mean, when you think about, I mean, even with the owner of our favorite team, the Eagles, I mean, Jeffrey Lurie's like probably more public than most, and he's still not like anywhere near Jerry Jones, who calls in once a week to the radio show, and it's just so over the top that I'd much rather be an in the shadows guy, or like I give good sound bites, and I'm always at the draft, and I know my shit, but you don't really see me that much, you know. Or I'd rather just be a head coach like a Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, but you don't get to just be a head coach. Like, this is, you have money.
No, I know. So you have money. So I wouldn't want to own an NFL team. I'd rather own something else.
Yeah, like I said, NBA. And I agree with
I'd be like the only black
Major
guy
League
there.
Baseball. That'd be No.
I would know there'd be a couple.
Jordan.
Yeah. No, who owned an NFL team? There's not that many black. Yeah, like
there's literally one minority, and he's not even black. He's like Pakistani.
He owns the Jags. They'd be like, "What?" He'd be like, "Welcome, my brother." I'd be like, "What? What's going on?" Like, so that'd be weird. That'd be an awkward.
That would be kind of tight. You'd be the first black owner.
That's gonna definitely be like some Jay-Z shit. I know he already works with the NFL, but Jay-Z or P Diddy, I could see P Diddy owning like the Bengals or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Broncos just got sold recently.
Dude, so much money.
But I know, but I was like thinking, like, like with the NFL, like those like deals do not come up like
Oh
like
no, well,
very
because
very often.
yeah, well, they profit share, so they're getting like their split. So it doesn't
That's
matter.
true too.
So it
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't matter. Like it doesn't
But so
matter
does
what
the
they
so
make.
Major League Baseball profit shares too, though.
Yeah, but then they also can sign their own individual TV deals for local distribution and stuff. So that's why, like, whenever the Dodgers had that one owner and he sold them before Michael Johnson and or Michael, sorry,
Michael Johnson,
yeah,
Magic.
Magic Johnson. I don't know why I was thinking about a sprinter with golden shoes. But whenever Magic Johnson and them bought it, their owner before that like didn't have enough money to pay the players. Do you remember this? Is way back in the
Yes,
day.
of course I remember.
And he
Dude,
had to,
I
and he
live
had to
out
cut,
here.
and he had to cut, and he was like, "We'll just wait till that money comes through from the TV deal, and then I'll pay everybody." And then like 2-3 weeks later, he got like $4 billion or some crazy shit. Like
Yeah, but you know what else he did? He sold them the team, kept the parking lot,
mm-hmm.
so he gets paid on the parking at Dodger Stadium. I just literally was going through on the street Stadium Way, then Scully Drive, like on my way home today from work, and yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I'll sell you guys the team, but I get to keep the parking." And it's like, there's a shit ton of money in that.
That's
Like,
genius. That's
it's
genius.
insane that
Yeah,
they
but
let him even do that.
so, but
His
like,
name's like Frank or
and
something.
that's what I'm saying. Like baseball, those guys got some power and they got some pull, and they can make their own like separate deals. But like so the profit sharing is a little bit different. That's why teams like the Yankees, compete all the time and can throw crazy money at people.
Yeah, there's no salary cap.
Yeah,
I
like
don't think.
the Cowboys are worth a lot because their property value is like through the roof. They own so much property in Frisco and Dallas and the Star and these fields and complexes and all their ranches and shit. Like Jerry Jones owns so much like primo real estate that he's developed over time that's why they're worth so much money. It's like I swear 90% of it's real estate. Probably not 90.
Well,
maybe not 90%.
no,
The
like,
brand's worth a lot, but
I was gonna say the brand. Yeah.
but I mean the brand's allowed him to purchase these massive investments that's ballooned the value to like astronomical proportions.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys for like $300 million or something, and now it's worth like $5 billion.
Yeah, I think he took out like a loan to buy like a loan to buy it and shit, and now it's like that's insane. That's like one of the craziest deals ever.
It's like literally the most valuable sports franchise in the entire world.
So,
throw soccer and throw any sport.
So one of the craziest deals in sports history. It was way back in the day. Back whenever they only showed the NBA on tape. There was the NBA and the ABA. And there was a basketball team, an ABA team out of St. Louis. They weren't that great. I can't remember exactly what their names were, but there was like 5 or 6 guys who owned this team. There were a bunch of like part-time working dudes and dads, contractors they owned this team, right? Well, whenever they got absorbed by the NBA, they signed a contract, and in their contract they wanted TV rights. They were like, hey, we'll sell the team, blah blah blah, but we want a certain percentage of revenue off of TV rights for as long as the NBA's doing their thing. And they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, okay, nobody gives a fuck about TV. This is way back in the day. They bought those guys out like maybe within the past 10 or 15 years, where every time they did a new TV deal or a new contract, and as the TV market grew, these guys were getting a slice of that pie that when they bought them out, it was for something insane. Like, oh my, like I swear it was over $100 million easy that they paid these guys out, but they'd been giving them a slice of every TV deal as it blew up. So whenever the Showtime Lakers were playing, like those guys were cutting checks off of those games like for infinity until they paid them off like post 2010, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's crazy because like there was a ton of like NBA teams that got sold for like pennies.
Yeah, and
on the dollar. Like the Sixers got sold for like 300 million. The fucking Atlanta Hawks got sold for like 300 million. Sacramento, I think Golden State, like like it is insane, and that everybody realized it was like when the Clippers had to get rid of Donald racist Sterling.
Yeah,
like, and then Balmer bought it for like $2 billion.
Yeah, it was like 2.6 billion.
Like, oh, it's like, yeah, motherfucker, there's only 30 teams, like, and they're not going anywhere. Like So I think every single NBA team is now worth over $1 billion.
Oh,
Yeah,
easily, because like,
but it was not that long ago when they were only paying like 300 million. It's like, what's fucking insane?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like guaranteed check.
Yeah,
Guar-
guaranteed money and clout. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah,
I own the Sacramento Kings. Like, yeah, fuck yeah.
fuck yeah,
They're like, oh, you own the Jags? That sucks. It's like, I guess I own an NFL team, asshole. Like,
yeah. And they might move to London, which that would be tight. Okay, y'all. Fourth and final therapy question, Joseph. If you were the captain of a pirate ship, what would be the name of your ship?
It'd have to be something creepy.
Yeah, of course.
Probably like Cthulhu or something like that.
Cthulhu? What the fuck is that?
It's a H.P. Lovecraft character. He's in like South
What
Park.
is H.P. Lovecraft?
H.P. Lovecraft is a science fiction writer from like the early 1900s. It's sad to say 1900s because it's 2022. But like a racist white guy from Providence. But he came up with like the ideas behind like Alien and the movie The Reanimator. He has this book At the Mountains of Madness, which is like really, really good. He just was a crazy science fiction writer. Was really, really crazy. So Cthulhu is this massive octopus / winged beast thing. So it'd be cool because it's he kind of looks like the character from Pirates of the Caribbean with the guy with the tentacles that plays the piano. Do you know what I'm talking about? You see Pirates?
I'm very glad that I don't, because no, it doesn't. No.
Hey man, it'd be probably something like that. Something that wouldn't make sense to you. But it's in South Park, and you watch South Park, the Coon episodes when Cartman, they're all superheroes. No, when Cartman plays the raccoon superhero, his name's the Coon. That's his name. It is. He summons this, and he kills a bunch of hippies with Cthulhu, and he's this big octopus beast guy.
Hey, my ship would be called I'm the Captain Now.
I thought you were gonna say pussy. I was like, here we go. I'm the captain now?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad was trying to buy a yacht.
Oh, okay, Dutch.
Yeah, like a big yacht. And he was gonna call it Encourageable, because when he was like in, I think like junior high or high school, like his teacher got mad at him for something and called him Encourageable, and he didn't know what that meant, and he looked it up, and he was like, "Fuck you."
That shit'll stick with you, man.
I know, it is kind of funny, but no, yeah, I think I'm the Captain Now would be pretty tight, or I don't know, like what the fuck was yours?
Cthulhu, or it'd be like SS Huggy, SS Hugs, or SS Chicken Thighs, or something like that.
SS Chicken Thighs.
Yeah, let's go.
What was the?
Or I'd be like,
what was the football dance that we used to do?
The chicken thighs?
Was it that?
Yes,
yeah,
okay,
chicken
thighs. Yeah, chicken thighs.
Yeah.
That's chicken thighs. Or it'd be like, I just want to be some black guy in this real rich area with my yacht cruising around, and on the SS Snow Bunny. That'd be funny. People be like, just like cruising out there sailing all the time, because that'd make the neighbors mad.
What neighbors?
Well, I mean, you'd have boat neighbors if you have like a spot to put it.
Like at the dock.
Yeah, at the dock.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I watch a lot of Below Deck. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Yacht life. I actually and this is not. I'm not bullshitting. Kind of sometimes think like, should I just quit, like, my job, and go become a yachty, like a deckhand, like on a super yacht, like in the Med.
For a moment, I thought of you like with twisted braids and beads and being like your little yachty, and I was like, oh dang, when you're like, should I go be a yachty? I was like, yeah man, go for it, that'd be fucking awesome.
No, that's what they call them, like the crew that works like on like yachts. Like, yeah.
It's like
And I feel like I'd be really good at that job because I used to be a server for like decades, and like I don't know. I just feel like I could like hustle, and then it'd be like good money, and you're like traveling.
So if you can save up enough money and take like a break from work and like quit for 2 years and go do something like that, for sure.
You can make a shit ton of money.
No, I know you can, but I mean, I'd want some financial stability. I'd want to have something to go back to. I don't think I could do that for forever. I'm way too antsy.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get burned out like pretty, it's not like a 40-year gig. It's like, yeah, and a lot of them are like in their 20s. So like I'm getting like it's like applying to the real world. It's like,
hey,
like we're too old.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Is that your impression of us?
Yeah, well, just like interviewing as old men for.
Yeah, but I mean
the real world.
We're 35. We're not too old yet, but
yeah, it's like.
But we're on the verge.
Yeah, but we could be on like the 2 real world. Be like,
well, real world, they don't even do it anymore.
Well, I know, but if they made one for like older people, it was like 2 real. It was like the 2 real world. It's like, man, I'm behind on my mortgage. Everybody's like freaking out, and it's like all these actual adult problems, and not like who finger banged who or whatever they used to argue about on that. I do remember some wild shit when that guy got his tongue bit off. That was a weird episode of the real world. And there was another.
That was hot, dude.
And there was another one where a girl with Lyme disease freaked out and got slapped by a gay man when she was getting into a taxi cab. That was New Orleans. That was Seattle. That was Seattle. It was definitely Seattle because they had to walk out on that pier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I thought it was New Orleans. But no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then the tongue biting off was, I can't remember. I think that was Boston. Man, I was a fucked up kid. We would watch all that shit all the time. I should not be watching that.
Since I was like 10, I wanted to like apply for the real world. Like I was like, this be tight. And then I was like, I'm not old enough. And then now I'm like, I'm too old.
It really started to fall off after Hawaii. Hawaii was really good when they had like Tech, the black guy with the blonde fro, and that one was that was a really good season. And then after that, it started
with a Ruby who are like OD'd. Like, yeah, that was
wild.
Gnarly.
That was wild.
But the challenge is like exponentially better than the real world.
I mean, I guess, man, the challenge is kind of fucking annoying. Like, because it's just like the same people. I'm sorry, man. Well, I guess it's
America's 5th major sport.
Get out of here.
Hey, straight up.
It's like I'm just like watching like CT, like he's back and he's gonna
smash your head and eat it.
Smash your head and eat it. And like, is he gonna lose his temper this time? I'm like, of course he is. Like, there's no mysteries in the challenge. Everybody's just the same. It's like, oh, Wes, the wildly old guy's like, this is my last challenge, guys. My elbow's bad, but I'm here to play the game. Nobody.
Wes owns 30 businesses.
I bet.
Just ask him.
I know. He's got to do something with all that fucking challenge money. It's just like the same people. It's recycled. And way back in the day, I dated this girl, and she was obsessed with it to the point to where she would just want to sit in bed all day and watch the challenge. And it was like, it became depressing.
I just rewatched an entire season on Netflix. Like,
you want to fuck with Turbo? You want to hurt Turbo?
Who the fuck is Turbo?
What? The crazy.
Are you talking about like American Gladiators?
No, it's the crazy Middle Eastern guy who won the challenge. Like,
oh yeah.
Who's like fucking rowdy. And it's like what beat the shit out of.
Yeah, he's from Turkey.
He's like, you want to fuck me up? You want
that guy?
Fuck?
Dude,
he's
there's
a rowdy.
Something wrong with that guy.
Dude, he's
like
crazy.
He's dangerous.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't believe they even let him on that show because he wasn't in the real world. Like, he was like recruited, like, because what they do now, instead of just the real world, like they bring like people over from like American Ninja Warrior or
what was he?
Love Island.
What was he on? Like bare knuckle brawl? Like, where the fuck did they find Turbo?
Some random like UK show, I think. Like, yeah. Or maybe, I don't know, but yeah, That guy.
He's from
was
UK.
A psycho. No, he's from Turkey.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He was on the Turkey season 2 of Smasher Big Brother because he's a fucking monster, dude. And yeah, and he was like, I think I could take you, and he's like, you never take me. I fucking kill you. I was like, whoa, bro, that guy's losing it. Everyone's like, dude, Turbo's going off, and then he won, just like iron lungs, just running on the beach, like you cannot crush me.
Yeah, he is like too dumb to get like tired.
Oh yeah. All right, let's get into these articles.
All right.
The first one. I mean, we don't have to just talk about Africa. We can just talk about how shitty the royal family is in general. I had somebody get really pissed off at me.
Hot take.
But not really. But cloud of colonialism hangs over Queen Elizabeth's legacy in Africa, and she always claimed that Africa was one of her favorite countries and that she loved it and nobody knew more.
It's a continent.
Sorry. She's been to multiple countries and that it was her favorite continent in the world, but she's like, she said that nobody knew Africa better than her or knew African culture better than her.
Nobody knows Africa better than me.
Yeah, but actively fought against people's freedoms, where people had to literally die to have their freedom from the ever oppressing British Empire. What are your takes on this?
I really just because the United States had to go to war with England in order to gain our independence, I actively think it's fun to talk shit about the UK, just because of 1776, the Revolutionary War. However, the UK, one of the biggest listeners to the podcast. I mean, I'm Irish too, so I've got both the Revolutionary War for the United States plus Ireland. So that's strike two. And then I also think the Beach Boys are better than the Beatles. I think that's just a fact.
Yeah, I fucking hate the Beatles.
So, that's strike three. But the Queen, actually, I don't know, dude. I think it's so weird how obsessed Americans are with, the royal family.
Right, it just doesn't make sense.
It's the whole way we got our country was to, to tell them to go fuck themselves, but now we're all obsessed with the monarchy. I was asking you before the show, and I'll just bring it back up. Would you hook up with Queen Elizabeth?
I mean, nah, man.
Back in the day?
Nah. It's the teeth, man. I can't get past it, dude. It'd just be too much, dude. But I mean, we're talking about what? Kenya, which had been under British rule since 1895, was named an official colony in 1920 and remained that way until it won. Remember, it won independence in 1963. Among the worst atrocities under the British rule occurred during the Mau Mau uprising, which started in 1952.
They had concentration camps.
Yeah, the year she took the throne. The colonial administration at the time carried out extreme acts of torture, including castration and essay, and detainment camps where at least 150,000 Kenyans were held. Elderly Kenyans who sued for compensation in 2011 were ultimately awarded 20 million pounds by the British Empire, split up between more than 5,000 people. I just don't think that you can overlook the fact that, and that's true. I don't see what the big deal is about calling people out on their shit, talking shit about the British royal family and how goofy it is. And it's really because that's one of the most American things you can do is talk shit about the British crown. Sorry. And they don't do anything. It's there's a meme where it's Prince Charles finally has his first job in 73 years. They don't really do anything. They haven't earned their status. They have all of this land. They're some of the wealthiest landowners in the entire world. And they don't really answer to anybody. They're not really ever held accountable. Prince Andrew in itself is a perv. I don't know if you saw, but there was a kid. I'm actually going to pull up this clip. I know you can't hear it, but there was a kid who was at the event. He was
outside of Buckingham.
Outside of during the funeral procession, you could say it's a distasteful.
Well, she hasn't had a funeral yet, but
the casket procession, and so she's riding through the town, and some kid was shouting at Prince Andrew how he's a pedophile and a creep, and it's not incorrect. He paid out money to people that were attached to the Mr. Epstein and all that creepy stuff. So I mean, and that kid got arrested for speaking out against it. Yeah, he literally got pulled, yanked back. I wish I had the clip. Got yanked back by his collar by the cops and got detained and then got arrested. And he was just out there protesting and criticizing Prince Andrew for being a creeper, which he is. So I just don't know. I never.
Well, that's weird. I didn't know that.
And also it really comes down like I mean, it's gonna sound goofy. I'm a Princess Diana guy, so like anything like no, I mean the whole world mourned when Princess Diana died, not just because of how she was treated or the things that came to light about like her husband being skeevy and cheating on her and stuff. Despite all of that, I think she was like much more of a genuine person in the things she did than the Queen. We saw her like going out and picking up landmines, actually going to Africa and helping people that are disenfranchised, not just walking around and making them carry on the back of cars and waving at people or carrying massive umbrellas while covered in robes. Like she actually was out there doing stuff. I think that's why the sympathy and the outcry when she passed away. I mean, Elton John, one of Elton John's greatest songs was written about her after she passed away.
Candle in the Wind.
Yeah, like so like I'm just saying like it just puts into perspective like I've never really liked her that much or found her authentic in any way, just like most of them. And the ones that do seem authentic are the ones that leave or the ones that are lambasted and outcast by the family.
I don't know. Like I wasn't like necessarily the biggest fan, and like we said, you know, it's fun to talk shit about the royal family. However, I like learned a little bit, like a lot more about like shit that Queen Elizabeth II was like involved in that I didn't previously know, and I don't know. She seems all right.
Yeah, but I mean, no, I'm not saying that like overall.
Like it wasn't like she had a choice, you know.
True. No, and so obviously I'm not saying that she chose this life for herself, but the whole act of it and the things that took place while she was the figurehead of something and had a say in these decisions is what I have an issue with. It's like you just don't get a pass for that. You know, I mean, obviously
like think about the history of the United States. Like you're like, you know, she took over what, 1950? You know, like fucking like we didn't even have the Civil Rights Act or like
but that's know, like, well, I mean that's the whole thing, and it's true there as it is true here. We have people here actively trying to pretend like things have always been a certain way or change how history looks upon them, and I'm sure if they could, they've actively tried to make the Queen look better in all the good decisions and highlight those and not talk about some of the atrocities that group with her making decisions chose to make. Now, some of them she probably was led into those decisions by people that are more experienced, but I mean, you took over a country, declared it a colony, and then they had to go to war like to gain their freedom. Hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives or were put in camps. Like you just don't get, you know, like because you take pictures dancing with an official who's probably super corrupt and uses his friendship with you to leverage his thing to get more assets or whatever the fuck he wants. Like you don't get a pass for that. So I mean, it's sad that she died, but
I mean, I guess she's 96, you know, ding dong, the Queen is dead. I mean, 96, dude. Like my grandma died when she was 93. My grandpa died when he was like 94. It's like, okay, I miss my grandparents, but how sad can you really get? Like, you know, like that's a full ass life.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a really good. This is from Jamaica, because you got to think it's not just like South Africa, Australia, India, Jamaica, Haiti.
Hong Kong.
It's not just all.
No, they literally reigned over like I think it was like something ridiculous, like 75% of like the world's population at one point. Like, you know, and then it was less under her, but it was still like outrageous, like how many colonies and you know, like fiefdoms that they had.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch season 2 of fucking The Crown, which was really good, but you could watch season 2 of The Crown and it's her just like traveling the whole fucking time, or one of them traveling and being like, oh, I went and saw the people of Ghana today and they threw flowers at me. They're so simple-minded, but I love them. Right back soon.
Yeah.
Queen bitch. During
Like Barbados just tried to get like their complete independence. Like Rihanna was there.
yeah, fuck yeah, Riri. But it said, this is a good quote. During her 70 years on the throne, your grandmother has done nothing to redress or atone for the suffering of our ancestors that took place during her reign, and or during the period of time of the entire period of British trafficking of Africans, enslavement, indentureship, and colonization. That's just it. It's like there's a lack of accountability, and then we see how Prince Andrew totally gets a pass, and like should definitely would have gone to jail, but instead nothing happens to him. It's because of who he is, and like she represents that, and they're all at the end of the day about protecting the crown, protecting their little circle, their little weird. We're marrying our cousin's family.
My brother keeps saying that she did. That wasn't her cousin. Was her husband, right? Because he keeps saying that. I'm like, I don't think so.
I think they're like somehow related in some weird way.
That is weird.
But that's like, well, like there's the Habsburgs. That's the reason. That's the reason. No, they were like definitely an arranged marriage. It was definitely like you should marry this guy. Because he comes from a royal descendant, like German, Austrian,
or French or some shit.
Yeah, I think it's like bloodline. So he's like prestigious enough to marry her, to sit in that spot. But he was fucking around on her all the time, man.
Dude, he was actually pretty good-looking dude back in the day. Like
yeah.
He's like tall and like handsome.
Oh
but,
yeah.
But most of my life, he just looked like an old goofy son of a bitch.
Like fucking the Crypt Keeper. He looked more like the Crypt Keeper than Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones is getting bad, dude.
I was Jerry Jones does a lot of like facial surgery.
Well, yeah. Well, now he's in Frisco, dude. That's like the outside of South Lake and Highland Park. That's like Botox capital of the DFW Metroplex. So he's got firsthand. There's probably a Botox in the fucking locker room in the press box.
Well, Botox, but I mean he's got
there's a box
facelifts and like
there's a Botox box next to his executive suite.
Yeah. But I don't know how many more like actual surgeries he can have, like how much skin he has left, like to tighten. Like he looks like a different person.
Yeah. Yeah, he creeps me
I don't know, like, but like also like back to the Queen, like a lot of like Barack's like boys like that I listen to like on a podcast called Pod Save the World. Like they like speak pretty highly of her. Like she's kind of funny and like chill, and they also said like it seemed like she went out of her way to like be like welcome Barack Obama as like president. Like she like made like an extra effort like to like give him respect and stuff like that, which
yeah,
I liked.
No, and I like, well, we can appreciate those things, I think, but those are things that like don't directly affect us. She's never done anything that has directly affected me, but she's
never done anything.
She was the head of a state that did some pretty horrible things to people.
She doesn't make decisions. She took off, or she became queen when Winston Churchill was already the prime minister, like, and we already won World War II. Like, it's not like she was like running like shop like on major decisions.
But I just don't, her being nice to Barack Obama, doesn't give her a pass. She's the head she's the head of the state. So that's what I'm saying is like you're making like it's like you I don't think she deserves to have excuses made for her for the things that the country that she's been in charge of for 70 years has done to other people. Because by the time 63, when they won their independence,
Kenya?
No, where was it? Yeah, Kenya. Yeah, Kenya. Whenever the Kenyans won their independence, and then they ended up in 2011 paying out $20 million to 5,000 people. Like, I mean, but that's just like, we don't want to talk about that. There's a lack of accountability in that sense to the people they directly affected. So being nice to the first black president of the most powerful country in the world would be a bad look for all of her creepy cult followers in America if she's a dick to him. So I'm not saying that like I think that she could have done more PR in different areas. That's all. There you go. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time, the only reason why I know that is because they're talking about like private conversations and like it's not like she was out like talking like very often. Like she did very little PR.
Oh, I know. Well, yeah, as time progressed, yeah.
Yeah, like she wasn't like, "Yo, I'm really nice to Barack Obama." It's like Barack Obama and his
This is
boys
like, hey,
telling me
she's
they're like,
she was really nice.
Ben Rhodes, who is the national security or the deputy national security advisor. They're all like at this fucking like meeting. I forget which one it was, and uh, Barack was about to go talk to Putin on the side, like an unplanned meeting to tell him to like stop fucking around in the election.
Yeah.
And Ben Rhodes like finds out, and he's running to like get so that he's like there for the conversation because you want like somebody taking notes and like be like, "Yo, don't say this, don't say," like he's like, "Wait, what?" Like Barack's gonna talk to Putin, and like Barack's like, Putin, stop fucking around. We can turn the lights off. And then afterwards, Ben Rhodes said he was like kind of like sweating and like he's like had to go to the bathroom, and he goes over to the bathroom and he like tries to open the door and it's locked, and he's like shaking the door, and he's like he like realizes it's like somebody's in there, and so he just waits, and the door opens and it's Queen Elizabeth, and she like just gives him this look, like adjusts her handbag like on her arm, was like, the fuck, bro? Like, and he's like so embarrassed. She's just in there by herself, like no security, like outside the door. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, I guess like I said, my issue is just the lack of accountability for the royal family as a whole for the things that they do, and this like weird cult following that they've like just amassed all over the world, but especially in the US. And I think it started with Princess Diana. People really got obsessed with the royal family, and then they were like, oh, who's this, like, because it was almost like some Cinderella story. Young girl comes from a kind of more a poorer family, simple family, and now she's marrying the king, and now she's the and she's gonna be a princess. So it was this kind of Disney story for people, so they really bought into it. But I don't think that like a lot of the characters aren't really that great. And the weird stuff with Prince Andrew just doesn't help her case. Like, that's super weird, covering for your son, or like he should be in prison.
yeah, it seems like it.
I mean, he paid her.
But so should Trump,
Well, yeah, true. But like there's Trump could actually go to court. Prince Andrew's just like they're just like, go away.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any, like, he's not like threatening to run for.
Well, yeah, I
king.
I don't think he's allowed to like act in any of his royal duties anymore.
He has no like influence like over like policy, but Trump's like, trying to be president again, like, so that's a fucking problem.
True.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say one other thing, but I forget. So we can move on if you want.
All right, article number 2: the 2022 teacher shortage from Bloomberg. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I mean, my mom was a teacher. It's saying that right now, K through 12 education. This is people are getting burned out, and a lot of people are leaving. What is it? This is a Gallup poll, the burnout ones. Share of U.S. workers who say they feel burned out at work always or very often in the industry. And you look at this, the top 2 professions are teachers. Now, I can speak from my mom's...
The top 2 are both teachers?
Yeah, well, I mean, college or university.
K
through 12 education, college or university, then professional services, government or public policy, retail, healthcare, law, entertainment. The last one's finance. Dang, construction. Everybody's like, man, I'm not burned out. Construction would be chill. You don't have to like talk to anybody, which is what nobody wants to do anymore. All right, here we go. The school year wasn't even over when Deanna DaCosta knew she had to quit at 26. That's crazy. Then 26, like my mom just retired from teaching, and to get your full pension and retire, you have to, I think it's 30 years. 30 years. And my mom stopped for a bit and she had to go back and start over. That's crazy. So you'd think 4 years, that girl's still paying off her college loans if she has them. She's nowhere near being out of the hole. It's like she's expecting to teach for the rest of her life. She said, I'm done with the profession. Well, no, but I mean, I think
college loans to be a teacher.
It depends on what you want to do. Yeah, it depends. And you got to remember, not everybody comes from different economic backgrounds. So,
no, I get that, but I mean, like, do you even have to go to a 4-year college to become a teacher?
Well, I mean, I think they've been lowering the bar lower and lower at this point
Yeah,
because everyone's
yeah.
quitting.
It's like the LAPD. Like if you ever did coke in your life, you like could not be a police officer in Los Angeles.
And now they're
And
like,
then
how many
and they're like,
times have you been arrested
yeah,
for a controlled substance? Is it less
it's like,
than
well,
six?
first of all, you can't even like test me for coke. How the fuck would you even know? Like what, a lie detector test? Like kiss my ass. I beat a lie detector test every time. But I just thought like that like a teacher, like to get your teaching degree is almost kind of like a trade school, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, it says now teachers are walking out by the hundreds of thousands, vowing to never return. Study by the National Center for Education Statistics in March found that 44% of public schools reported teaching vacancies. By LinkedIn's calculations, the number of teachers who quit in June was almost 41% higher than the year earlier.
Yeah, no, it's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, my mom's a teacher now. There's so many. They're doing half days at schools. I know that up to 40% of the teachers quit in the South Lake School District. I mean,
Yeah,
if you pay attention to the news
yeah,
at all, you can
you're dealing
imagine
with
why.
psycho parents, school boards like that are overtaken by like lunatics, school shootings. You're not getting paid. You have to like buy your own like supplies for your classroom. I mean, it is fucking dumb. Like we need to pay teachers and nurses like a lot more. You know, like what are we doing as a society?
Yeah, an educator exodus not only was worrisome implications for the future of the profession and generations of kids, it also is disquieting for what it says about the value of the country places on a career dominated by women. About 76% of the 3.5 million U.S. public school teachers were female in a 2017-2018 academic year. The latest available NCS data shows. As women abandon the field for industries which are higher in pay, lower stress. I mean, man, my mom would be using her own money to pay for school stuff for her classroom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She's spending half of her year teaching some stupid bullshit test that's some standardized test that doesn't even mean dick. And they just if the kids all don't pass it with high enough grades, she's gonna get fired. But there's some kids that can't that are like struggling to read, and it's so she went back to teaching as a part-time sub because they begged her to come back because they don't have any fucking teachers, and she's doing like first graders, and she loves it because it's just first graders. It's like so low stress.
Yeah, it's like very low stakes there.
Yeah, but
okay, what's that? What's that? We have a special guest. It's Conspiracy Andy. Oh, Conspiracy Andy. What do you have to say? Do you think that their schools are underfunded on purpose to keep the population dumb?
Well, I think,
or do you just think it's like some dumb, bureaucratic?
I think
bullshit?
it's capitalism bleeding into our educational system. I think that there's an active move to try to pull taxpayer and public funds from those public schools to give to private schools,
like charter schools,
and stuff for profit. Yeah, for profit. So I think there's just I think that people realize how important education is, and they really want to push to monetize that for gain. And I think that that's really what we're seeing. And then I think that people don't like being challenged. People don't like being uncomfortable. Like I bought a shirt that says "I love CRT." I think I'm gonna wear it to Grape Fest. But I'm just to troll the shit out of people, but it's because like that's not even like troublesome. We're talking about there's 5 federal civil rights lawsuits against this school district that's like supposedly one of the best in the country because of how they treat people. That's fucking crazy. And I mean, South Lake is 2 steps away from being a private school Christian school district. Like, I mean, because
it felt like a private Christian school when we went there.
It's even more so now. And you think about like whenever these schools start taking religious and political stances, like they should be disqualified for getting taxpayers' money, in my opinion. So we see these people that are actively trying to just take taxpayer money to indoctrinate more kids. So I think that they've realized that as kids have gotten older and they realize what's going on, like our generation and the generation after us, that we realize they're all full of shit, and so now they feel like they have to get to us younger and get to us earlier to make sure that we believe certain things, so that way we don't push back.
Yeah, see, it's so fucked up because critical race theory not taught in any single elementary, junior high, or high school in the country. Not even taught in undergrad, like college. It's a
Yeah.
graduate. It's a graduate like class. That if you take a certain major, they go over critical race
Well, you're
theory,
a
but you're
lawyer.
already a fucking adult.
It's a law. It's a law. It's a
Yeah.
thing of law. Because I dated a lawyer, and she took that class, and she had people in her who she went to the same school that Neil Gorsuch was a professor and taught law at CU, and they all talk shit about that guy the entire time, and were disgusted when he got nominated to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, six days before an election.
That was Amy.
Yeah,
Amy. I've never
yeah,
seen a trial. Amy Comey Barrett.
yeah. Amy. I'm a Supreme Court justice, but for some reason I have three names, like a fucking serial killer. Uh, um, okay, but my point is that critical race theory not taught in America's public schools. However, these people are taking over school boards and trying to like flex their fucking like thoughts like on their like kids, banning books and like telling people like what they can and cannot learn, or if they have a book about World War II, they better have Mein Kampf, like in the same fucking class.
Yeah.
Like the alternative like view of World War II, and it's like you're actually, and this is exactly what Trump does. Anything that Trump says, like about somebody else, he's doing. Fake news. Fake news. The whole term started as Russia like infiltrating our social media to influence the 2016 election, and like beware of fake news. And then Trump flipped it around and he was like, CNN, you are fake news.
You're fake news.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, you're the biggest liar in the history of liars, like, but like period. I'll give him credit. He's the best con man ever, which pains me to say, but it's true. But like whatever he says, he's doing. Whatever he says negative, it's like something he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with these fucking school boards where they're like, oh, critical race theory. You're trying to indoctrinate our kids. No, they're not, and you actually are. You're banning books and like dictating what curriculum gets taught to your kids. Like, you can't talk about slavery. You can't talk about this or that. It's like, the fuck out of here. You guys are doing exactly what you're claiming to be stopping.
Yeah, and they're like, they're trying to teach, George Washington was anti-slavery. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
No.
And
Vato had slaves.
And it's okay.
He did free all of his slaves when he died.
But it's like,
give him a little bit of credit.
Yeah, but
he inherited those slaves from his dad when his dad died.
Oh, that's okay. Well, that's just passing down of property at that point.
Literally, I heard what's this fucking idiot, Larry Elder, who ran against our governor.
That guy was so crazy, man. He was freaky.
Who's an African American said that that white people deserve reparations.
Oh, I remember that.
For ending slavery being ended, because technically the white people who were the slave owners lost their property.
Yeah, I remember that.
They deserve reparations. I'm like, that is fucking, like, I didn't even know. Like, it's like something I would never have even thought I could think.
Dude, that's Uncle Ruckus. That's Uncle Ruckus level.
Yeah.
That's Uncle Ruckus. That's Uncle Ruckus. Like,
the other hit from Larry Elder, that fucking idiot, was that women deserve more scrutiny and blame in domestic violence cases.
Dude, he was so creepy, dude. He looked like a Mr. Potato Head. But it says that the National Education Association found that starting salaries averaged at $41,777 for 2020 to 2021, a 4% decrease from the year prior when adjusted for inflation, and the lowest in at least a decade. So I'm saying, man, like, there's no incentive. These people are sitting here putting up with all these crazy ass parents who don't punish their kids, don't teach their kids what to do, anything like that. They don't. Yeah, it's fucking weird how involved they want to be.
Yeah, I thought the pandemic would like put some respect on the name of teachers when these parents had to like teach their kids, from home. We're like, oh shit, this is tough, but it's like nobody learned.
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff that like boomers didn't know dick about, like the Tulsa massacre or stuff like that. They were never taught that. So then if they see anything like that in one of
Black
their
Wall Street.
yeah, and if any of their kids' stuff, and they're like, what? Not that they're teaching that, because they just started teaching that. They weren't even teaching that in Tulsa, in their educational system at all. So,
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like
I think
in our curriculum.
parents, I mean, I don't have kids. I say that all the time, but I don't. But these parents are like, you know what, man?
Why do you say that? Why do you say that all the time?
Because it's just, I don't want to be like disrespectful. I want people to understand that I'm not talking from a point where it's like I have kids. So I'm not saying like from my experience.
I hate that argument. Just because I don't have kids doesn't mean like I don't have an opinion.
True, but I just think I should preface that before I say something where I'm like, I don't think parents or I think parents felt like what teachers did was easy after all they did was complain about how hard it was, and they wanted their kids back in school. But then whenever they were actually half involved in what was going on with their kids, they think that they know better than the teachers. So it just made it worse. I went from, because I remember, I think I told you before, I remember seeing a kid not make the basketball team.
Yeah, I remember that.
Crying his eyes out, and then getting put on the basketball team because his mom called the school, and he got put on the A team, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. No fucking shame, because the coaches got ripped and ridiculed by their mom. Get the fuck.
Yeah, that was like 7th grade, right?
Yeah, I think it was 8th grade.
8th grade, yeah.
And it's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, you don't just deserve it because you think you do or because you're fucking tall. Like, nah, man. Like, if you didn't make it, you didn't make it. And like that, your mom having to step in and do that for you just shows how like, oh man, because you can only imagine the shit was being said and the threats if you don't give.
And that was like the tip of the iceberg, that was like 2001.
Oh, if that was like that was
20 years later.
Yeah, that was like 1998.
It's exponentially worse.
Oh yeah, but that's just a good like
not 1980.
1998. Yeah, no, good.
No.
Or maybe 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
2000. But yeah, I mean, she said, I began to see a shift. This is another teacher. So this is Natalie Alvarez, 34, middle school Spanish teacher.
Holler.
She left. I began
what's up, Miss Bravo Fuerte? That's right.
Get out of here. I began to see a shift.
Let me holla.
To see a shift in public opinions of teachers, and the school board meetings were starting to go crazy. We went from being heroes to being the worst pile of trash, according to parents. In Virginia, man, when the new Governor Glenn Youngkin, who's a schmuck, started running his campaign shtick, let's get CRT out of schools. It was clear he wanted to remove all or most protections from the pandemic. From an educator's perspective, it was honestly quite scary. Once he got elected, he lifted all mask mandates. Kids started showing up without them at the peak of Omicron, and the district did nothing to defend us. That's when I needed to find another job. Me and my colleagues felt utterly dismissed. I loved the kids, and they remained the reason why I stayed, but everything was making me madder and madder because I knew it wouldn't change the system. I knew I couldn't change the system, which is true. I mean, that's why my mom left. She was like, dude, it's nuts.
But Youngkin's a piece of shit, but I kind of am starting to lean on the side of we should have let kids still go to school without masks. Like, I don't really think that we saved like any lives by restricting kids from going to school. It's
well, I mean,
it was scary. I get like scary for the teachers, because nobody knew what the fuck was going on. But I think they would have been just fine. The point is they don't get paid enough like to take that gamble.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like my mom, who's older and has health issues, was teaching, and it's like they would get a notification like, hey, somebody in your class tested positive for corona and they're not going to be coming in. And she would never know who it was, if she was in contact with them. And my mom's like in her mid to late 60s. So it's like, I'm not saying like, I mean, all kids should have to wear masks or anything like that. But what we do in those pandemics, or when something like that happens, it's super reactionary. So you take as many precautions as you can in the beginning, and then you roll them back as you figure out what works and what doesn't work, because you don't know anything about it to begin with. So I mean, I think that in the long run, I mean, obviously, it might have protected some of the teachers, but I don't think it necessarily saved any kids.
Right.
But I mean, you know, there's a large community within these school districts that are like older and elderly. But for them, like they said, is whether they want you to, if a teacher has pre-existing health condition and like is a cancer survivor and wants kids to wear masks, she's a monster. You know, she's a groomer. You're trying to traffic my kid on Wish, on Wish.com. I seen it on Wayfair, man. I saw it on TikTok, man. But don't download TikTok because it's owned by China. Notice how everybody everybody wanted to ban TikTok because it was from China.
Hot take.
Yeah, because they all wanted to ban.
It should be banned.
Yeah.
The Chinese Communist Party has access to TikTok. Period. And if they want to like just like put their thumb on the scale and like start like making like kids, because guess what? TikTok not in China. It's not in China. Good for the United States. Chinese company. They won't let TikTok, no Chinese person can get on it. And if they want to put their thumb on the scale and start making you feel like shitty about capitalism and like maybe socialism and communism might be a little bit better, like it doesn't have to be like that crazy. Just like, you know, like start saying like some bad shit about the United States.
Yeah,
like,
but I think that most of what they're doing is they're just like laughing at everybody on there making asses of themselves. Because they'll be like, man, I remember when this guy used to post on fucking Telegram that TikTok was horrible, and now those same people that say that use that as their medium to talk shit about people, how they're communists, but then they're using TikTok. So it's just very ironic that they all wanted it banned because Trump wanted it banned because they made fun of him on it, and it was owned by China. And then now they all use that, and that's their platform to talk shit and be like pro-Trump. You know, does that make sense?
Well, I think, yeah, I mean,
it's like Elon Musk still using Twitter.
It's like the average TikTok user, the amount of time they spend on TikTok is more than Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat combined. Like, ByteDance is their parent company, which is a Chinese company, and they say that the Chinese Communist Party doesn't have any access to it. It's like, okay, bullshit. Like, and I'm saying, okay, Vine used to exist, owned by Twitter, and then, you know, what did Twitter do? They canceled Vine because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
It's literally just TikTok. I'm saying, like, could another company just do the same fucking thing? Like, I mean, Instagram already did with IG Reels and, you know, Facebook Watch. You know, it's like they already stole, like, the whole thing. It's just, I think it should be banned. However, I also am curious, because I'm not on TikTok. Like, we have a TikTok for the podcast for some reason, except for we've never posted a single video. But we had to do it in order to get distribution on Spotify and Apple and Google. I don't know why that was like a prerequisite, but it was. But I'm just saying, like, I wonder what the country's reaction would be if Biden banned TikTok. Like, I think a lot of people
would be mad.
They'd be like, "Yo, why did?" Yeah, they'd be like, "You just pissed in my Cheerio bowl." Like,
yeah, but half of them would be like anti-Biden people who were pro it being banned before. So they'd be like, "Hey, man, I hated it before, but now that's my favorite app, man. What are you doing, man? I play that and I play Clash of Clans, baby. Just don't take away my towers. Damn it, Brandon. Dark Brandon rises again." Nah, man. I don't have a TikTok, so they can steal everybody's information as much as they want.
Yeah, I mean, and I got hacked by the Cambridge Analytica shit, like on Facebook. I get on my Twitter account because I got hacked like 7 times, like back in like 2010. And I was like, well, fuck this. Like, I don't need this, and I don't need to keep getting hacked.
Yeah,
so it's not like these other social media companies aren't like, you know, like you still could be fucked on those.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just could see like the Russian misinformation that they've done.
Oh yeah.
Like on a whole nother scale with TikTok and the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah. All right. Well, article number 3, third and final. Subpoenas. They passed. Hold on, I gotta do the clap. The clap, you can't hear it, but there's a clap right now.
I know, but I have been able to see or hear the sound effects and like see the graphics on the YouTube like after the show.
Yeah, it's good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. It's
like
tight.
good, and then like on the we got the I have because I have like opening and closing theme songs, so I'll play that one
Yeah, no,
today
it's great.
when you get off. Yeah, no, I got to figure it out, but I've been really dicking around with it and like the booze and stuff. I've had a lot of fun with it
Yeah,
because I can make anything once I
yeah.
figured
That
it
was like
out.
one of the. That might have been the first thing I saw or happened was you booed me.
Yeah, I did. I did. Somebody said that they're like, "Did he know that you booed him?" I was like, "Nah, he had no idea. If he watches it later, he'll hear it."
I'm here for it though.
Last one, yeah, man, they passed out subpoenas. Federal grand jury eyeing Trump's Save America PAC. This is the same. Well, Save America PAC is separate from the PAC that. A lot of PACs, man. A lot to pack in here.
For the audience, PAC is a acronym. It's PAC, and it's a political action committee where politicians can raise money, unlimited amounts of money, as long as whoever's running the political action committee doesn't coordinate with the political candidate, which is fucking dumb because it's like, their like best friend is the one who's running like the pack, and it was like they supposedly don't talk about strategy. It was this Supreme Court decision back in like 2010, I think, called Citizens United.
Yeah,
That
it
said,
just got reaffirmed too.
yeah, which is one of the worst fucking things that ever happened to the United States, is making it okay for corporations to contribute unlimited amounts of money, or just individuals like billionaires.
Yeah, and you're limited in what you can give as an individual.
Right. It's like $2,500 is the maximum.
But these dudes could give, like Walmart could give billions of dollars in money and split them up amongst super PACs, and then that gets distributed. Right. So it's basically just like back alley lobbying for cash. But a federal grand jury passed out 30 subpoenas. It got released earlier today. Stephen Miller, who's this creepy egghead fuck on top of this article. I fucking hate Stephen Miller.
Santa Monica fascist Stephen Miller, please.
Oh, God, I hate that dude.
He has a name.
Former Trump speechwriter and senior policy advisor. And Brian Jack, a former White House political director. He still advises Trump and other Republican lawmakers, including Kevin McCarthy. They've been subpoenaed along with 28 others. Some amongst the others were William B. Harrison and William S. Russell, aides to Trump during the presidency, Nicholas Luna, a former personal assistant to Trump, Sean Dolleman, a chief financial officer for his 2020 campaign, which we already saw Paul Manafort go to prison for, but then get pardoned by the same schmuck who was who the campaign was for, and former chief of staff Ivanka Trump. Man, they're just passing out all sorts.
The chief of staff for her?
Yeah, Julia Radford. Sorry,
I was like,
yeah, no, Julie Radford, the former chief of staff for Ivanka Trump. But I think there's some of these people have already
have a chief of staff because you're like the daughter of the president.
Well, she had a
special
job.
Advisor.
Yeah, she had a job.
Does everybody have a chief of staff like in Washington?
Yeah, if you're in the West Wing, you do, I guess.
Jesus Christ!
But it was formed 2 days after Trump lost the Save America PAC was formed. Yeah, 2 days after he lost the election, and it was getting the PAC Save America contribute up to $5,000 annually to other campaign committees.
Yeah, and like this is all bullshit. It's like Trump is literally raising money in this fucking super PAC or PAC, political action committee, based upon like
the big lie
that the big lie, like he won the fucking election, and he's allowed to use this money for almost literally anything, like travel.
It's all gone, isn't it?
Probably because he's fucking terrible.
It was like
finance.
$250 million he grifted, and then you got to remember there was
he also so these people who are donating, they had, do you want this to be a one-time donation, or do you want it to be like weekly or monthly? And they'd automatically select the weekly or monthly, the Trump organization would. And so you would thought you were like giving like $200, like some rural like white dude in like West Virginia, but no, it was $200 every single week. And then they had no idea, and he raised like $175 million on this bullshit and he actually got fined and had to pay all that money back. Like, it's insane, dude. Like, how much of a grifter this asshole is,
And
and how many people still like him.
And then you got to remember, I mean, Steve Bannon got pardoned for a bunch of shady shit that he did for Trump, and now he just turned himself in, and he's under another investigation, despite the one with the January 6th committee and being held in contempt of court. He could potentially go to prison for 5 to 15 for stealing a bunch of money from another political super PAC that was for building a wall that they didn't build a fucking wall, and they grifted a bunch of money and they stole all that money. So that's like, if you were wondering,
turned himself in.
Yeah, so if you're curious why Bannon was in cuffs the other day in New York, it had nothing to do with the January 6th committee. That's from that's from this PAC shit that he stole a bunch of money from. And it was a PAC that's taking over school boards. That's what we talked about before. These PACs taking over at a lower level because it's getting more and more. It's like such a fucking cesspool, man.
Yeah, that's their playbook is, and it took a while for the Democrats to figure this out, which was unfortunate. Which is state and local elections is like where a lot of legislation gets done. So, like, we're focused on the United States Senate and the United States Congress and the presidency, but the Republicans have been doing like, some Chinese long game shit on us where they're like, okay, we're going to take over the state house, the state Senate, the school board, the mayor, like governors and mayors. And that's where a lot of shit gets like done, so they can just like pass, like it is crazy.
Yeah, well, then they're like, we're going to take over the city manager, because you see a lot of these small rural towns have lots of corruption where there's, one person's the active sheriff and is the city planner. And you'll see them compartmentalize their local governments into a small group of people, and then that group of people can control the decisions for many, and they're hard to replace. Some of those,
and you do that on a macro scale,
yep.
In like hundreds or thousands of cities across the country.
Yeah, or just counties. You just do it by county by county. You can start
exactly.
Yeah, you just do it county by county, and then you take over a county, and then you take over a district, and then you take over, take
over the world, like Pinky in the fucking brain.
It's crazy. So that's like, it's been a very long play for them. And I think, they've had to do that, especially with judges. Trump appointed more judges than anybody, but you just
literally 25% of the federal judges on the court today were appointed by Donald Trump, the one-term, twice failed popular vote president.
Listen to this. Listen to this right here.
3 Supreme Court justices and 25% of all the other federal judges. This fucking idiot.
Trump's Save America PAC has garnered over $135 million in donations since 2020. The leadership PAC has notably donated $1 million to a nonprofit connected to former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, $1 million to America First Policy Institute, $200,000 to Trump Hotel Properties, $650,000 to the Smithsonian Institute.
For what?
Smithsonian Institution to fund portraits of the former president and the former first lady. $60,000 to Melania's stylist.
That's so fucking
Reported
funny.
over half of the PAC's money was donated by retirees. Fucking boomers, dude.
Ugh.
After the Mar-a-Lago search on August 8th, the Save America PAC launched a fundraising email encouraging supporters to rush in a donation immediately, in all caps, uppercase, to publicly stand with me against this never-ending witch hunt.
Yeah. I wonder if, like...
Look at this weirdo, dude. He's so weird.
Do you feel like if, like, the media just stopped covering him, that, like, we would just forget about it? Because, like, I've had this thought a couple times, like, it's like, okay, if Trump, like,
they tried that, and
like,
then he just made his own.
Dies of natural causes, right? Because he's old and fat and unhealthy. But let's say he just, like, passed whenever, because he's going to die. He's a human, right? So whenever it happens, I'm not saying, like, killed or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're just like, okay, well, thank God that's over. And then everyone's just going to move on.
No, some people are going to be, oh my gosh. That's the whole thing, is you thought that whenever he lost the election that people would do that, and they have not moved on.
Yeah, but he's been, like, running this campaign.
Yeah, but that's when we see these creepers like Ron DeSantis and other people who just follow suit and want to take that momentum and keep it running. So that's what I'm saying. Someone else is going to fill that void for him if he's not there. Because there's too much mobility.
Like, it doesn't necessarily, like, Trumpism has gone beyond him.
Yeah, at
This
this
is what you're
point.
saying.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you see these, whenever they're talking, they had it was in New Hampshire's first district. They were having a Republican debate. They had 5 candidates up there. 4 of the 5 candidates said that they would vote to impeach Joe Biden, and all of them said a different reason. One of them was like his response in Afghanistan. One of them was the border. It's open border and it's open season at the border. Everybody had some reason that they thought that they should. One of them was like the baby formula. They all had they all could agree that he should be impeached, but they couldn't agree on what. And that's
100% if the Republicans take the House, and I don't think they're going to take the Senate. I don't think they're going to take either. But let's say they take the House and the Senate, 100% Joe Biden will get impeached. Does not matter for what. They're just going to do it.
Oh yeah, no, they're spiteful as fuck.
That's where we're at. Donald Trump got impeached twice for
legitimate reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't just do it like just to do it. It was like,
and even if you were to think that like, oh well, there was no reason to do that and that's bullshit, well, now you see with all this interesting stolen documents that he took, like, then yeah, like there's reason to be suspicious of what the fuck he's doing with other foreign adversaries if he's got a bunch of...
He tried to blackmail Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, who was like, we already agreed, Congress agreed to give Ukraine weapons. This is like fucking 4 or 5 years ago, and he tried to blackmail him, said, I'm not going to give you the money to like stand up to the Russians
unless you give me information on the Bidens.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's like, eat a dick, dude.
Yeah, I know. And then this asshole loses again by 7 million fucking votes, and then summons a mob to go try to kill his own vice president and Speaker of the House, and he gets impeached again. And both times there's 100 senators. Both times over 50 senators, so the majority of senators, that includes Republicans, voted to convict him of his crimes. But it's not, and he was not going to go to jail because it's impeachment is a political act. It's not a legal act. But you need like 67 senators.
Yeah, they needed like 2 or 3.
Yeah. So I mean, fuck that guy.
Well, we'll see what those are a lot.
Shit,
those are a lot. Like, there's 3 big things, and like obviously January 6th committee and all that shit. Then there's this stuff with this PAC and raising money and these subpoenas. The federal grand jury subpoenaing all these people, some of who have already testified against Donald Trump, to the January 6th committee, to the grand jury in Fulton County, Georgia, with all the fake electors. Dude, I don't know. Okay, and it's not hearsay, but there was a video. There's 2 videos that came out today. I couldn't pull the clips, but one of them was this. So originally on May 6th is whenever they notified the Donald Trump. I'm gonna switch over real quick. And they were like, "Hey, we're missing some shit. Like, so we need to get this stuff back." That was on May 9th. Or sorry, May 6th. There's a video. Daily Wire was doing a report on Donald Trump, and he was leaving to go to Bedminster in New Jersey, and he's got his private jet out front, not like a government official, private jet out front, and this dude's filming him from inside the airport, like through the window, and you see Donald Trump get on this plane, and you see these dudes loading dozens of file boxes on the back of this jet that he's getting in, like dozens and dozens of boxes, just full of files, just dropping them in there. And that was 3 days after he was notified by the archives that stuff was missing. So there's a video of this, and that's not bullshit. Like, it's him. There's a video of him. Oh no, I found it. Here it is. There's a video of him loading up his jet. There's another video. I know you can't see this, but it's...
I know, but it's like, just real quick before you play it, like, okay, y'all, do you think that Donald Trump is really even read this shit? No, he's like, yo, get all of the most valuable shit that we can and let's fleece the fucking White House, and then I could maybe use it as leverage that I'll release these documents, like, if you try to arrest me, if not, like, sell them to fucking, like, Saudi Arabia or Russia. Like, I feel like people are being so cautious on, like, maybe he just wanted to like brag to his friends. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
Well, so there's that video, which I suggest you look it up, everyone. It's real. It's a thing. You see Donald Trump get on a jet, and you see these dudes loading these dozens of boxes on the back of this plane. Who knows what they are? That's all speculation, but they look like the boxes, like it's a close enough video where you can see the boxes look similar to the boxes that all these documents were found in Mar-a-Lago, and there's a lot of them being loaded on the back of this plane by a bunch of rando dudes 3 days after they said, hey, we know you have some of this stuff and we want to come to Mar-a-Lago and get it. He's seen 3 days later leaving with a bunch of boxes on a jet. Then there's a video that came out, I think it was today, so Donald Trump's been in D.C. No one really knows why he's been in D.C. Some people said he went to Walter Reed, but he was playing golf on one of his golf courses. He was going to the hospital so we can pay for this.
No, I know what Walter Reed is, but like, who the fuck wants him there?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's where he'd go, former president. I'd love that we pay for this fat ass's medical bills. But there's
I thought you meant like visit, because Walter Reed is a military hospital in Washington.
Yeah, no,
I thought you were saying like he's like visiting the troops. Like
no.
I was like,
I was referring to it as he was visiting. He was going to the hospital.
And now I have to talk to Donald Trump.
Yeah, he went there in like the cover of night and got there. No one really knows why. There's a video of him on his golf course out there meeting up. I'm gonna play it. You should go back and watch it. It's Donald Trump. He's out on the golf course playing golf. None of these guys have any fucking golf clubs. They're out in the middle of nowhere in this golf course, and they're all pacing and talking. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 7. It's like the 9 or 10 guys.
Are they Secret Service?
No. So they're all in separate golf carts. No, these are like average dressed dudes, not Secret Service. And it's speculation, but he's out there playing golf. No one's playing fucking golf. They're all out there, all in separate golf carts too. No golf clubs on the bags. So none of these cars have golf clubs.
So they're just like worried about like.
Or I think maybe some of them have clubs, but they're not playing. They drove out in the middle of this golf course to have
They don't want it to be like bugged.
Yeah, they're having like some sort of conversation.
And they're like outdoors, so
they look
that is weird.
They look super weird. Like I was saying, like I've seen this before. It's like, oh, here's a good picture of it. So I've been putting it up now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. None of them holding golf clubs. Some of them in jeans, and they're all out there while Donald Trump's talking. And I'm just like, who are all of these random ass fucking guys? But
if you have 3 golf carts like in your group, like that's a problem. You have 9.
Yeah, he's rolling deep with these dudes, but it looks super sketch. Yeah, what does this tweet say? How do we know it's not something innocent? Like these men are just planning a simple baby shower party for Herschel Walker's baby's mama. Because like it looks so sketchy. Like I've seen this in like a movie where someone walks up and then it pans in and they're talking about some shady ass shit in the middle of a golf course. But yeah, there's just Donald Trump and a bunch of rando dudes in the middle of a golf course, middle of the day, having private conversations. Yeah. Or no, in Virginia. He was on his Virginia golf course property. He was in D.C. this morning. He was in golf. Yeah. So he was in Virginia property today and appearing to play as he moved. Yeah. But not appearing to play as he moved with a large group. And the video was shot at a considerable distance. It just looks sketchy. Just looks fucking sketchy. So who knows? Who knows? But there's more investigation going into these guys and this creepy egghead fuck. So there's about 9 different ways, but I still think that the stealing of documents is the most likely way he really gets stuck with anything, which is just absolutely hilarious to me if that's how he goes down.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. Doesn't it seem like it's, just we can wrap it up right here, but it's like so weird because like it seems like we've always known that he stole documents. It's like that came out and it was just like, oh yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
But it's like that is like literally like like a new.
Well, I think people
extra scandal.
Yeah,
as if he didn't have already enough problems.
Almost more self-imposed than any of the other ones, because it's like because you stole them and they're at your house, like in your boxes in your office.
And they asked for him back
because they know you have them.
And you said you gave them all back, and you didn't. You fucking idiot! Like, how badly do you want these documents? Like, he's such a fucking moron, dude.
Yeah.
I can't. We're just not giving him any more time.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get too much into speculation, but yeah, super fucking shady. But yeah, man, I think, Schultz, I'm not gonna plug it too hard, but this is a fuck ton of fun. And yeah, I mean, episode 56, soon to be 57. And if we change the title, let me know, and I can change any of the titles. It'll be on the actual pod, on like the live streams. I can change them after the fact.
Yeah. Well, before you go on, let me give a shout out. Joseph started his long-awaited new sports podcast, Angry Black Quarterback.
Some people are like, what's with that title? I'm like, I think it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, it's on Wednesdays at 7, and actually, Mr. Goody's gonna be
7 Central Time.
Yeah, 7 Central.
So that's 8 East Coast.
Yeah,
5 Pacific.
Yeah, it's listed in all the all that stuff's listed, as well as his social medias and stuff. But I mean, we got betting. I got my nephew 2.0s on there with his crazy little betting machine. I sent him out $1,000 to place bets for the season, so I told him we'd split whatever was left over to give him some incentive, because I want all my money back. If you're listening, Joe, I want all my money back. So you better make $1,000 at least.
When I was with the super producer initially coming up with the idea for this podcast, Joseph was already planning on doing the Angry Black Quarterback podcast.
Yeah,
and it's just taken like a little bit of development and stuff like that. So. Very proud of you that you finally got episode 1 done.
Yeah, so we did episode 1. We'll do episode 2 this Wednesday, and 7 Central. Mr. Goody's gonna be on this episode. Calling. I have a lot of guests call in. I have opposing views. So it's a lot of fun. Super interactive. It's it's just sports. You don't really talk any politics or anything like that. So I know some people that are like, man, I'm glad you're doing sports, because man, you guys get heavy. It's like, but that's, we're talking shit. Yeah, so please come by and stop by. And yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for this has been great. And it's been allowed us to really, we've come so far in what we're doing, and like the production value. It's taken so much time and effort that it's like sweet to be able to like implement new stuff, because we might have something else come out. Like the sky's the limit on the projects we can pretty much do. It's just like time.
We always had the goal to like expand like beyond this podcast, and we tried a little bit for the screenplayers.
We got shut the fuck down real quick.
But Angry Black Quarterback was even before screenplayers.
It's just
as far as like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I built this thing pretty much for that purpose, and then when I had this,
by this thing he means his supercomputer.
My supercomputer. And whenever you talked to me about being a guest, I was like, dude, I've built this computer and I want to do that, and I already have all this equipment, so it's been pretty sweet. But so we'll do this every Monday and do that every Wednesday. So I've got that like etched in my schedule for infinity. But crazy week. Pay attention to the news. Not going to plug my shit too much, but we appreciate y'all tuning in. Yeah, no, I know, and I appreciate it, but but I'm trying to wrap it up. It's been a long episode, man. 2 hours, but and with only with only 3 articles. It's crazy. But no, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and all the support. We're getting closer and closer to the century mark, which is fucking crazy, or 100. So I guess is that the century mark? 100? Yeah. Okay. I was like, why did I think 1,000?
Okay, bro.
I'm hot. I'm smoking too much weed.
Smoke more weed, dog.
Yeah, I will after this. But yeah, you guys just have a good, safe night. Stay out of trouble. We'll see y'all on Wednesday, and we'll also see you next Monday. Stay safe. Peace out.
Go fuck yourselves.
Recording stopped.
All right, good job, bud. All right, talk to you later.